like means the world to me. Creating, putting my heart out there, healing, it's everything. It's had my back, it's always had my back, and it will always have my back no matter what. It's home.
Hey guys, you're listening to Andreas Talks Art with your host, Andreas Creatrix.
It's the wild, wild west out here. I'm trying to hunt down all the artists on their creative pursuit. Art is this expression of human imagination that drives the process of introspection and contemplation that creates a limitless potential of creativity. And in the end, it's not about the art. It's about the mind and the soul that turn their imagination into a reality. So what does it mean to be an artist? And more importantly, what does art mean to you?
Yo, what is up, guys? We are back with another episode of Andreas Talks Art. And today, we have a special guest on. I sat down and talked with Molly Kirby, another fellow member of the Denver Art Society. She's an upscale fashion designer who specializes in eco-fashion, self-expression, individuality, and she loves crystals. She's the Creatrix of Mollymorphosis, and you can find her on Instagram at Mollymorphosis. So let's sit down and talk some art with Molly.
So art was pretty much always a part of my life growing up. My mom, from the time that I could remember, had me doing like creative things. Like I made a pin cushion when I was 4. She like sat down me and my cousin, showed us how to make a pin cushion.
What's a pin cushion?
This one's a little different, but
okay.
It's really just 2 pieces of fabric, like a little pillow, 2 pieces of fabric, hand stitch it, like turn it right side out, and put like stuffing inside of it, and then you can put your little pins in it. So that was like one of my first memories like growing up, and you know, like even making like Thanksgiving cookies, what we did would be like so over the top and creative, and you know, she sewed like all of my clothes, and it was kind of always there.
Yeah, you got a lot of like, your mom was creative?
Yeah, she worked in like a law firm, like a reception in person type thing, but she did a lot of crocheting. She made like all of my clothes. Oh
wow!
And so it was like always there. Never thought I would take it on. Like growing up, that wasn't like something I was interested in doing, like making fashion, but it just all fell into place.
No.
Yeah.
So when did you start to get more into it or realize like this was something you wanted to do with your life?
I was like 19 and I was working in a resale shop, and I worked there for like years, and I eventually became a coordinator, and I'd done like all the apartments except for clothing, and then so I started doing women's clothing, and just like really enjoyed like merchandising, like fashion, like really got into like thinking I want to be a stylist. And then one winter I was meeting family for a play down in Chicago, and I was walking the wrong direction. I like kind of knew I was walking the wrong direction, but I didn't like, you know, look and check my phone to see or anything. And it was snowing, and I ended up in front of the fashion building of Columbia College Chicago. And like I just like looked at what was in there, and I was like, I could make something better than that. And like I applied and I got in, and then started going to art school.
So like what about seeing that made you feel like you could do something better? Had you done stuff before like that you knew you could do something better?
No, I hadn't really. That was just like the thought of like, maybe that's something like I could take that I want to take on and want to learn more about. And like, you know, I went to community college like right after high school for a year, but it like there I wasn't doing something that I wanted to do. Like, you know, I would have rather gone to do hair or makeup, and it just didn't work out that way. And you know, just when I saw that, for some reason it changed, like me wanting to be a stylist kind of more into like, like I want to like make stuff, I want to create things.
Yeah.
And like at that time I'd been doing jewelry here and there, but nothing serious.
Okay. So you applied to art school?
Yeah.
And you got in?
Yes. Yeah, and that was a huge day. Like I like my work was kind of weird because I was supposed to have open availability, but they like worked it out to where I could have one day off, that I would leave Indiana and go to the city for school. And yeah, it changed my life. Like I was in a toxic relationship that, you know, eventually when I realized, because I was going to school part-time, that I wanted to be full-time, and I had family closer to the city that I could move in with in Illinois, and, you know, I got myself out of that relationship to go take art seriously and go to school full-time.
That's awesome. Was like art a big part of that push to get out of that toxic lifestyle? Yeah, definitely. Like after my first semester in fashion school, I started doing a lot of tie-dye and batik, which is an Indonesian textile design. And that really saved me, like doing that instead of, you know, just sitting watching TV, smoking weed, which I did a lot of. Like I started every night going and playing with fabric, playing with color, and that really is like what, like art gave me the push, but like, you know, or school gave me the push, but like, you know, the color and the creation like is what really got me out of there. Okay. When you say like playing with fabric, are you just like exploring different textures and different fabrics, or like how to?
I say I use it in that sense of like, you know, playing with tie-dye, like, you know, just seeing what I can do with, it was cotton, that pretty much what I worked with, but how I could fold it to get like a different situation happening in the tie-dye.
Cool. So I feel like there's a lot of like mixed feelings about art school. Like I went to art school too. Some people love it and it was a good push for them, and other people feel like it was more so kind of a waste. So what's your opinion with art school, and specifically like your experience?
Kind of like 50-50.
Okay.
Because like I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people. I learned a lot. I got to explore different aspects of creativity that I might not have explored. But then again, like I recognized that, you know, going for fashion, that what I wanted to do, I didn't need a degree for. And it's like I'm spending all this money on things that I don't necessarily need to like have my own business or create by myself. So I used it as a way, like I took like classes on patterning and sewing so I could learn from like someone with lots of experience on how to do that, and you know, get critiqued. Like getting critiqued, I did enjoy. Like I guess I never really experienced like a bad critique, so I could be biased on that, because like a lot of I got good feedback from the majority of the things that I made, but I could definitely see like art school not being exactly what it sounds like it would be.
Right. Right, because it's more so about the skills than the degree.
Yeah, exactly. The experience, like what's on your resume, like, you know, being hands-on does more for your resume than a degree. For sure. And also like the connection with the individuals and whatnot. Yeah. Do you have any like specific takeaways you got from Columbia? That's a good question. I guess like there's kind of a lot of things. Specifically, I had to take a class called making, and it was pretty much for any like fashion design. There's photographers in there. There were graphic design, illustration, like so many different majors in one class, and it kind of took you out of your comfort zone, and you made things using all sorts of materials. Like it was kind of a way to get us to explore the workshop and like the things that they had there. Like we had to, you know, use like the wood cutting things for like one of our projects, and we had to make a toy. Had to find a stick. This was like our spring break project, was find a stick and like recreate the stick. So just out of whatever? Yeah. What'd you use to make a stick? So I was working in a retail store at the time, so I took broken glass.
What?
Until someone complained about me taking the broken glass, but like, and I made like a mosaic stick, like a walking stick, and I did like the sun on the top and like moon on the bottom, and like put all the elements in it with the glass, and it was really cool.
That's
it's probably
pretty epic.
still one of my favorite things that I've created.
That sounds like super epic and super dangerous.
Definitely, I have gotten cut with it. Like walking with it, I need to resonate it because I still have it.
Yeah.
And then the next year in making 2, you had to like take something that you made in the previous year and make it better. And I took the stick and I, oh no, I can't think of the word. Where in like mosaic, you put the stuff in between the cracks.
Like sealed it?
Grout.
Grout.
To get the grout. And like when I brought it to class, the teacher was like, "Oh my gosh," because we had to like bring the stick to class like the first week, and then fix it and make it better. And when I did the grout, like she came back, was like, "Oh my gosh, this must have taken you so long." And like at this point, I was in 5 creative classes, so I literally took the grout, mixed it together, and then just like went on the stick and like did that. Like it took me like 10 minutes, and I was just there like, yeah, yes it did. I spent so much hard work on this.
That's funny. How did because I know for me, like a big thing with going to art school was this shift from like high school and like middle school, where like everything was based off of tests and homework, to like art school where it's all project based. Did that like shift your way of thinking and like going about your work
I feel that helped me learn better, like being hands-on and like because how else are you gonna be tested on your sewing than like making something? So it like had me focus on like really like being like straight with my lines, perfecting my seams, and a test would have just probably stressed me out and I would have done terrible. Yeah. Rather than like doing something like, I mean, as artists, like being hands-on is kind of what it's about. Yeah.
Did you like always know you were a hands-on learner?
Not really, but like thinking about it now, like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So you graduated from Columbia Art School?
I did not.
You did not?
No. So I realized that like a degree for me wasn't in my best interest because I wanted to work for myself. Yeah. And it all kind of came together very synchronistically. So I had like one class that was like, it was called Intro to Fashion Studies, and there you learned like the importance of pronouncing all the designers' names right, and that like if you didn't do that, people would look down on you. And also like a big thing for me was finding out like what fashion does on the environment. And it's like one of the worst things for our world, all the chemicals that get thrown into the water. You got people working in sweatshops making clothes that are not sustainable, that are like designed to fall apart, so you have to go buy more. And fabric samples are a huge thing too, of like designers use all these fabric samples that just get thrown away. Fabric that doesn't get used gets thrown away. And around the same time, my grandmother passed away, and I was learning about this. She passed away, and she was a little bit of a hoarder, but would just like, her thing was to make jewelry and clothing like all day, and her garden. That was pretty much her main hobbies. And so when she passed away, I was in art school, like fashion school, so I got all of her fabric and materials. And then it was just kind of like, wow, like I don't need to buy anything. I have all these things to start with. So it was just like, then I got on the road of like creating sustainable, like unique, one-of-a-kind, like fashionable items, like fun, colorful things.
Is that why you got into upcycle fashion designing?
Yeah.
Was that overwhelming getting all this stuff from your grandmother, or was it like super epic?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It was like, it was hard seeing her go. She was like a huge like role model for me. Like that's why I'm wearing the red lipstick, is because that was my grandma's big thing too. And I like to like doing something like this where I'm a little nervous, like having that part of my grandma with me is nice. But it was a lot of stuff to go through, but it was also like, you know, her being there for me in like an unspeakable way, like in the perfect way that she could have ever been there for me. It was like, you should do this. Here you go. Here's all my stuff.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like, I guess it sounds like upcycling wasn't talked about so much in school or in like taught about.
No, not really. No, like we were in my first apparel class, like we were brought to all like the high-end fabric stores in Chicago, and you know, it wasn't really like, oh, like you should do this if you can, like use, like there wasn't the intention to really use recycled materials.
It's more based off of just pure design.
Yeah, like the design, like how you play with textures and like things like that, than really trying to be sustainable.
So what's like, besides the environmental benefits of upcycling, what's like some of the coolest parts of upcycling to you?
Playing with patchwork. Like I find that to be really like exciting, because you can mix pretty much anything, any sort of texture, any sort of color, like all together to create this like funky little piece of clothing that's like, you know, unique to like the person who wears it. And that's something like what I really love is like creating stuff for people to express themselves and things that are unique, because like, you know, we're all our own person, we're all an individual, but like the way we're like conditioned is to try to fit in, to try and, you know, go do what like culture and society tells us to do, instead of like, you know, truly finding ourselves and expressing who we are. Yeah,
for sure. Are you still like going through your grandma's collection, or do you have another source of getting your material?
Yes to both. I have another source, which is actually right across the street, which is a blessing and a curse. So I can like go in there needing like a certain color of thread.
What's across the street?
Recreative. Okay. Recreative Denver.
And that's just like
it has all sorts of art supplies. They're all donated. It's a non-profit. If you haven't been there, you need to go.
Recreative Denver.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I could go in there and end up leaving, like spending $20 and leaving with 10 yards of fabric, like spools of it there.
That's epic.
It caught my eye. And I'll go to families' houses and they'll be like, and this is of my grandma's stuff, they'll be like, oh, you know, you have stuff in my basement, you know, you have stuff in my attic. And I'm just like, oh God, like one day I'll get it. For now I'm gonna act like I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, I'm sure it piles up. So what do you see as like the biggest problem with the fashion industry?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be the biggest. I know it's very like seasonal based, right?
Yeah, very seasonal. Everything needs to be new. Like, you know, oh, that's fall 2018. You shouldn't wear that anymore. Or just even like size-wise, because in like high fashion, like sizes are very small, and just that, like, really in reality we don't need to use any new fabric. There's enough here for us to, you know, make clothing out of what we have and not continue to hurt the earth.
Right. Keep squeezing it for everything.
Yeah, for everything it can give us. Like, that's a problem. Yeah. It's crying right now.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that you're like all your clothes are like always in season.
Yeah, like that's how I don't like, I mean, I have things that are warmer that I personally wear, but you know, if you want to wear a hot pink shirt in December, fucking do it. Like, who cares?
Is that like do you have this intent, or is there ways to make clothes last longer as opposed to the traditional methods?
Just like using sustainable like fabrics, like natural materials are made to last longer than like nylon or like polyester or something. I actually think nylon might be natural. Not sure right now.
Like cotton?
Yeah, like cotton, those are things that can last longer, and like, mixing cotton with like polyester changes like the sustainability of the material.
Okay. Cool. So you moved from Chicago to Colorado?
Yeah.
What made you like come out here?
It just like I was doing the tie-dye and stuff, and the color, and like, weed became legal here, marijuana, cannabis became legal. Not too long like before that, because I was doing the tie-dyeing in 2015, and that's when I just started saying I need to be in Colorado, like I need to go to Colorado. And then I was in Illinois. This was 2018. I was working at Starbucks, and I was like just talking about Colorado, and I had a friend who was like, we weren't really hanging out or anything, just coworkers, and he was kind of like wanted his family vacation to be cheaper, and so I was like, oh, I'm going to Colorado, and like told me the days. I was like, okay, can I come? And just like I completely blew him away by going and requesting the days off. Was like, yeah, I'm coming with you guys to Colorado. And had an amazing time. The like night we left, I was like crying, like I don't want to leave. And so 7 weeks later, I was back.
That was the first time you've ever been?
Yeah.
Whoa.
When I moved 7 weeks later.
Where'd you come when you first came out here on vacation?
Where did we go? We stayed in Inglewood, and we went to Boulder. We were supposed to go up into the mountains somewhere around Boulder, and then it started raining. Yeah. So we ended up in Boulder, and that was funny because like we went to Pearl Street, and like they like joked with me of like we looked around and couldn't find you. You like blended right in, like, and like agreed that like I needed to be like I should be in Colorado.
Yeah. You felt like you blended in kind of.
Yeah.
Or fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, was it hard to make that leap to come out here, or did it make sense?
It was difficult. I'd been saving money to like move for a while, and my dad was like also trying to help me buy a condo there. And I kept telling him like, please, like you don't need to do this. I don't want to stay around here forever. So, and he like kept insisting, and then like put, like I was going to buy a place with something, like he was going to buy, like something fell through with what he was doing. And that's when I was like, okay, Dad. Like he was upset that it fell through. I was like, it's okay. I'm moving to Colorado. Yeah. And it was kind of like all around that time. So it was like, it was hard to watch him be upset that something like big that he wanted to do for me didn't work out, but it's also like good that it didn't work out. Yeah. And I was saving up money for a while, and I was talking with a friend who, she was living in Chicago. She's from Russia. She's like traveled all over the country here. And it's like I was telling her I wanted to have a certain amount in my bank account, and she's like, how much do you have now? And I told her, and she's like, you're fine, go. Like, get out of here, you need to leave. And so, her saying that, someone who had like, lived on her own for so long, to say that to me, like gave me like, I guess, emotional support into like, oh, I can do this. It's going to be okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So since being out here, like, how's that been for you and for your art? Has that changed anything?
It's been amazing. It's definitely really helped my healing journey. I've been able to shed a lot of layers, let go of like trauma that I've been holding on to, and it definitely like is inspiring to like see people appreciate like what I'm doing here and like understand it. Yeah. And so that has been definitely very empowering and inspirational.
Has it affected your art at all?
Yeah, it's definitely like my production and quality. I feel like it's really like, pushed me to go like the extra mile to like better my quality and how I create.
Just like being out on your own, or?
Yeah, being out on my own and just being in like Colorado, like just being with like the more like chill, like lay back type of vibes.
Yeah, like it was more like hustle bustle, kind of like stress.
Yeah. And it's like it's hard to find, at least for me, it was hard for me to find like a good co-op in Chicago.
Yeah.
And like here, moving to Colorado, I found Denver Art Society the first weekend I was here.
How'd you find it?
Actually, a photographer that I worked with in Chicago, like our parents were good friends, like in high school, so like we've known each other our whole lives, and I would work with her out there, and she would do like travel photography, and she's like, you need to check out the art district on Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And yeah, like 6 days after I moved here, I found this place, and I've been here ever since.
Hey, you just like walked into here?
Yeah.
That's
it's like
cool.
Family here.
Yeah. So you've been here, how long did you say?
Since 2018.
Whoa.
I did like take a little break when I moved to Boulder, but yeah, 3 years.
So what's being here and being a part of this like community and family, like you say, what's that been like for you and your art?
It's been very empowering to feel like accepted by like all those around you and like appreciated for what you do, and like I feel like here in this place, like people have like seen me for who I truly am and accepted me, which like, can be difficult in like, your biological family, right, to like have that acceptance and understanding, like being an artist, being like the like black sheep of the family.
You felt like a misfit.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Did you ever like have your art displayed before this, or was this the first time you had it displayed to the public?
Well, I've had things on display on Michigan Avenue when I was going to school. I had a couple of dresses, finals that were in the window there, and I was a part of a little tiny art community in Chicago. Okay. But this was like the first like kind of big deal thing, because like the co-op I was a part of in Chicago was in like a little studio space in a basement. Yeah. Which like it was cool, and a lot of like foot traffic there on like third Fridays. That was a big thing there. But like other than that, not many people came in. I did produced a fashion show in that that art gallery. That was cool. Yeah.
And you just did a fashion show here too?
Yes.
So that's the only two you've ever done?
That I've produced. I've been involved, but those were the two that I did the production and organization.
So how has that like evolved from the first one to the one you just did here at the Denver Art Society?
Oh, it worked out so much like smoother here, and I think like what really helped was asking people for help. Yeah. Tim, one of the musicians here, TLJII, I asked him to help with like the changing the music for the designers as they came out, and like he did it perfectly, and I'm very grateful for like help like that. Help to like run the front desk like while the gallery was open for the show, and that's something I struggle to ask for help, so that was like something to like recognize, you can ask for help, people are willing to do it. Just like if someone asks me for help, I'm willing to help. Right. So it's just like, okay, like, you have the support of this community, and make sure you go out and you give your support. Right.
It's super reassuring, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like, just having all these people like displaying your clothes and your work?
It's very rewarding. It's like kind of like a natural high, like, because after the fashion show, like the stress of everything is done. It's just like cloud nine, and getting to show people like my whole heart in that sense is like, I'm really grateful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Has it been I know like some artists feel like very attached to a lot of their work and have like trouble selling it. Have you felt that, or have you like has it been easy to sell, and have you like wanted to like give your stuff out to people?
Definitely in the beginning. Like I started, I made a lot of jewelry out of like the scraps from the tie-dye I would do, and with that stuff I was very attached to it, and it was hard for me to want to sell it. And like that's like throughout time that's gotten easier, but it still is hard to I think a lot of artists struggle with this, to like sell your art. You like to make it, but like when it comes to being like a business person, it's kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like, and so it's definitely hard for me to sell in that aspect of like being shy type of thing.
Yeah.
It definitely helps, like, you know, when you have friends who are good at selling their art.
Right.
Like that's good to like watch and be like an observer of that.
For sure. Yeah, like I've even noticed like being here, that, and also like helping other people sell their work, and them helping you sell their work. Like it's easier to sell someone else's work for them.
It's so true. It's so like strange. But yeah, if you have like a friend whose art you're really passionate about, it's definitely easier to sell theirs than yours. That's funny.
So if I'm not mistaken, your art is more than just like these objects, these physical materials you're creating. There's like a deeper meaning and connection behind it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all about like wanting to help people express their individuality.
Yeah.
I grew up, I went to a really small Catholic school, kindergarten through 8th grade, and I felt like I had to fit in. I felt like I had to do a lot to try to fit in, and it like was really hard on me like all throughout, until I started going to art school pretty much, and still until I was like in a place where it was like all these people were like me, all these people like, you know, had this sense of like wanting to express something that, you know, you can't really express in words, and wanted to create. And so just being able to create something that's one of a kind, that no one else will have anything that's exactly the same, I find very like uplifting, and like I put my heart into that to, you know, really speak to the person who wears it and let them like know that they're special, because we all are like special and there's no one else exactly like us. So I do like creating like a wardrobe that has that sense around it.
Yeah. And is that just like like through the fact that each piece is completely its own?
That's just through my heart.
Yeah.
That's, you know, just what I want to do, just what, because I know like expressing yourself can be really difficult, whether it's words or like what you wear or how you carry yourself. And, you know, I just want to like spread the thought and the idea and the energy that everyone's beautiful, and, you know, should and deserves to like recognize that within themselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, what you wear is part of your expression. So, like, you know, if what you wear makes you feel beautiful, like, and it's, like, one of a kind, like, yeah, it's special.
Yeah, that's for sure. You, like, definitely, your wardrobe, like, becomes a part of you, and it, like, it helps define your character. Not fully defines it, but it's definitely a big part of it.
And, like, for me, you know, like right now I'm playing with a scrap of jeans. Like I need to like fiddle, have something to play with. So like, you know, having like fringe or like even just like a patch to like touch on my clothing is like nice, like kind of like a anti-anxiety thing. I can't think of like a, you know, like kind of like the concept of like a weighted blanket, but instead of having the weight, just having like different textures for like me to touch.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll like roll my skin. Do you like intentionally leave anything on your clothes to fiddle with?
Yeah, sometimes like even like fringe or like even a necklace too. If I'm wearing something like when I create, I wear like pajamas practically, like t-shirts and shorts. But yeah, just like textures that are different to like touch. Like I do intentionally like to have that in my clothing. I actually haven't made anything specifically for myself.
No?
Which is like odd, yeah. Like,
do you wear your own clothes though?
Yeah, like I have, like the dress I'm wearing is my own, but it wasn't intentionally made for me. I just tried it on one day and was like, oh, this fits. I need to have stuff that I wear. Or, yeah, I need to have stuff that I make that I wear, so this will be mine.
That's interesting. Why do you think you never like made something for yourself?
I don't know. Like, that's like, it's an interesting question. Like, it's just like something that's came into my mind recently, and I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, I guess maybe part of it's showing it off and like talking about myself, because I struggle to talk about my art, and kind of need to get out of my shell of doing that. That's why, I took this dress and like as my own in the sense, like, intention to do that. So I think that's part of it, is just like being shy and like, kind of hesitant to like put myself out there.
Right. For sure. Do you like, how do you go about, I mean, I guess, is that the only piece of clothing you've taken for yourself, or do you have kind of your own wardrobe that you've accumulated from all your pieces?
No, this is the first one.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like I guess I do have a jacket that I made.
Yeah.
For myself. So yeah, those two things are the only ones.
If you were to like design an outfit for yourself right now, what would be like some of the inspiration or the colors or different fabrics?
The thought that came to me when you said that was like bell bottoms.
Bell bottoms?
I'm short, so finding a pair of bell bottoms that fit me.
Yeah.
And that's maybe something I need to do for myself, like colorful patchwork, velvet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
I
thank you.
that.
Maybe I should do that.
Yeah,
you should do that.
You will do that. That's awesome. Okay. I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
But before I ask my last question, where can people check out all your work? Do you have your stuff for sale in the Denver Art Society?
Yeah, Denver Art Society. I have my Instagram, Mollymorphosis, and my website, Mollymorphosis.com.
Mollymorphosis.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so Molly, what does art mean to you?
Art like means the world to me. Like, creating, putting my heart out there, healing in the process of doing so. It's everything. Yeah, it's had my back. It's always had my back, and it will always have my back no matter what. It's home.
Thanks for listening. Share this with your friends if you liked it. And don't forget to be cool. Peace out.